You have been sentenced to 22 years in prison.
Today we got an exclusive. We talk about changing from that transition from being incarcerated to the outside world. Today I'm gonna take you inside the world of people that's incarcerated. I'm waiting on a call from my man, Anthony Winn.
Hello. This is a prepaid debit call from Anthony, an inmate at the Virginia Department of Correction.
Introduce yourself, and you could share your story to the world, and just talk about some of the things that you was able to accomplish this far.
Yeah, well, my name is Anthony Winn, right? And I got sentenced to 36 years, under the new law. I came here when I was 19, but my favorite, phrase is that I never been bored in prison, right?
Right.
Because I always had something to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm creative. Like I'm gonna make things, manifest, right?
I know a lot of people think of prison and they understand that we got a lot of time on our hands, but they think that time is there because it's nothing to do. So what are some of the things that you was able to get into while, incarcerated? How did you pass time?
Okay. So, I've read a lot, right? I read a lot of autobiographies, memoirs. I got a lot of role models that, I studied. Nelson Mandela, John Lewis, these individuals right here, just, shine a blueprint for me, because I wanted to do the right thing. So, I educated myself. Recently, I just got an associate's degree in general studies. I graduated with honors.
Top of your class, valedictorian, right?
Right. 3.95.
3.95. I try to tell them all the time that some of the most brilliant minds, some of the sharpest people, that I've ran across in prison.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like dudes make mistakes and they find themselves in certain circumstances, but some of the most talented and some of the sharpest minds, and you being one of them, like it was always an honor for me to be able to be amongst you, be in your presence, just to be able to learn myself, like for you to challenge me. I seen the things that you was focusing on and accomplishing, and like you lit that fuel in me, you lit the fire in me.
Right. Yeah, because I seen you had that spark, man. You know what I'm saying? You had that light. Because you remember I asked you to participate in the fatherhood program I created.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, since day one, you rock with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you was in there where grown men was in there crying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We created that space for men to be able to sit down and talk. You know what I'm saying? Because, I seen a need. You know what I'm saying? So, being who I am, I created it. I got with the right sponsors. Shout out to Miss Nisi. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But she's great in this.
Right? I think that's one thing that you open my mind up to. That when you trying to do things that's positive, when you trying to do what's right and show that change, that things can happen. People look at the circumstances, like I say, and think that we just passing time while incarcerated. People know prison is it could be like a college in a sense that if you utilize your time for it. But some of the struggles too, some people feel like we didn't deserve some of the classes or college courses or certain things we was able to get into.
Right.
But they don't understand that we the same people coming back into society, and they want
Right.
us to realize that, you know, they want us to have a chance, but at the same time, not giving you
Right.
certain chances or opportunities.
Right. Right. Because it's like, the second chance, right? When I was going to college, after high school, I had a whole different focus. You see what I'm saying? So, but I lost focus along that way. But now, like I graduated this time, the difference between in the 90s and now in the 2024, the difference is my purpose now, right?
Right.
So I've got older, so now I know, like, through all my experiences and everything I learned, I know how to use it.
Right.
I know how to make the best out of my resources. I'm limited resources in here. So imagine what I can get with my hands if I'm out there, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm able to utilize that and make it work for myself. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait. And then you're an extension of that. You know what I'm saying? So you out there, you like the vanguard. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
Right.
that came before me, y'all putting in that work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming right behind you.
And that's what it was. Like, you know, I want people to understand, like, you know, I spent 2 decades of my life in prison, you know what I mean?
Right,
And you
right,
probably know me, you know, a good portion of that. You know what I mean? We probably
right,
did
right,
over 7 years or more, you know, amongst each other presence or whatever. And,
right, right.
you know, timing is everything when it's about growth and changing who you are and things of that nature. And, you
Yeah,
know, I always wanted to give respect to you from you, like I say, from the beginning of challenging me. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
remember, like you say, even from the fatherhood class, I think the biggest
yeah.
thing that changed my perspective of doing things that was uncomfortable to me, but that's what change is, right? Doing
Right.
something totally different from what you used to, and
That's
taking
right.
that leap or that faith in myself is, you
That's
know,
right.
even when we did the Black History thing, you know what I mean, and just
Right.
speaking in front
Right.
of a mass of people, you know
That's
that.
right.
And then, you know, like you say, you definitely a elite and avid reader, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like challenging me with books and not just saying read this book, but then questioning me after the fact.
Right.
You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? So,
That's right.
and you know, even to speak on the book club, you know what I mean? The book club,
Right.
fatherhood program, most of the
Right.
talent shows, of course,
Right.
educational, darting, you know what I mean? All of that
Right.
has been
Yeah.
part of that journey, you know what I mean?
Right. And the beautiful thing about that is that I'm still making history, right? You
Right,
know what I'm saying? So I'm always creating. Like, even though that happened in the past, I'm still working today. You know.
exactly.
And then one thing, you just made a good point about transitioning. Like, transition or transformation comes about when you're doing things that's uncomfortable. That's you traveling into the unknown, right?
Right,
So that's what happened to me when I came here. Throughout the system, I always worked in the rec department. You know
right,
what I'm saying? So I used to play basketball. I'm in the gym, organizing events, right? So when I got to Dillwyn, when I got here, you know, as you noticed, I was graduating from a paralegal course,
right,
right? So I was like, nah, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna go work in a law library. You
right.
see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna practice this law stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I was able to get in the law library, and it was totally different. You know what I mean? But my purpose was to be able to get around administration. Is like a form of socialization because I've been on the rec yards. I know how to communicate with inmates. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
I wanted to get around civilians. I wanted to get around staff to be able to get my condition myself to be able to, handle myself around situations and people in general.
And I think
Instead
like
of just
that's the challenge, right? When
right,
you already dealing with a stigma because you're incarcerated, but then
right,
you trying to show civilians, know, you know, the people that's not in our situation, they amongst us though, but we trying to
right,
get them to see, like, you know,
right,
everybody not the same. You know, people
right,
do change coming under these circumstances, but we all carry a stigma. And that's
Right.
that's like, for me, television is also highlighting what the transition is like for those who want it, who
Right.
really thrive in doing it, proving it, know what I mean?
That's
Stepping
right.
every
That's right.
single step of saying, look, this is who I am, this is what I
That's right.
represent. Judge me for what I'm pouring out to y'all versus the fact of my
That's,
circumstances of just being in here amongst the masses.
yeah. That's right.
But I
That's
think
right.
like it's easy to stand out when you're doing right. You see what I'm saying? Especially when you're amongst
Yeah.
so much that's conniving or wrong or things of that nature. It ain't
Right.
it ain't
Right.
that hard to make that choice to say, I'm gonna be better and I'm gonna do better.
Right. Right. And it works too. It benefits, but it's only on the individual to recognize it, right? Because it's like I was like, man, I can do when I was doing wrong, I was doing it bad, right? You know what I'm saying? So why couldn't I reverse that and do good the right way? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I've been benefiting ever since I made that transition. It was like, nah, that criminal way of thinking, nah,
Right.
I ain't doing that. You see what I'm saying? I'm living right. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna live straight. So
And
it's
I think
beneficial.
like I say, us meeting up and at the time, I it always been a blessing to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
you was able to pour into me of what I needed to be thinking about. You know what I mean? And that's just
Right.
more or less identifying self as a man.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because I felt like once we was able to conduct who we are as individuals and as men, it wasn't hard
Yeah.
to bring that kind of energy forth and say, okay, this is who I am, this is what I stand on, and I'm gonna just do
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. That's right.
Know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's
But
right.
like, some people haven't man up, but you have a lot of people that say, oh, all the good men locked up.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily promote that, but I do
Right.
understand that there are good men that's just stuck in your situation.
Right. 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 And then it's like, like I said, I got a purpose here. Huh? You know what I'm saying? I got work to do, regardless of where I'm at,
Right,
regardless of what position I'm in life. I still got to be the same individual, and that's me. You
right,
see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be nobody else, but that's me,
right,
wherever I'm at. Right? You know what I'm saying? And I challenge anybody, that I'm close to do the same. You see what I'm saying?
right.
Because like I
Because
said, I live for
you want
genuineness.
like-minded people in your circumference.
Right.
You can't
Exactly.
stay on a right and narrow path if you allowing the negativity, within your cipher.
Right.
Know what I
Right.
mean? I can't let the
Right.
people that's in the way in my circle. Know what I mean? And
Right. Right.
that was one thing I used to always say. Like they be like, "Oh, bro, in the way, this person in the way, that person in the way," and I used to
Yeah.
be like, "Those who in your way is those you can't get around." So
Right.
like, I don't need you just standing there in my way. I'm gonna get around you. I'm gonna figure out how to maneuver beyond
Right.
you. And I think like
Right.
that was one of the uh biggest things that we was able to accomplish. Like you were saying, you worked the rec department, you knew how to talk to the guys on the rec yard, and
Right.
also branch that with staff.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Because it's like as a whole, you trying to make something happen to say, look, we in here, we need to make the best of our situation. And I
That's
think
right.
like you was able to have that vision of what was really possible, and you made it happen. You made a lot of things
Right.
happen for us.
Right. Right. Right.
No man,
No,
and
you're right.
that's I'm like, okay, we could be in these situations and we could still live. We could still allow our mind to expand. Know what I
Right.
mean? We could still think
Right.
outside the box and say, let's make these things happen.
Hmm. Yeah. That's right. That's what it's all about.
Think let's back it up to like talking about the fatherhood class.
Okay.
Know what I mean? I think that was something that I even took after, we parted ways to the other institution that I went to. I still took
Okay.
that same platform with me, you know what I mean? Because I think
Okay.
as men, we don't get to express certain things. We don't get to open up. We don't get to be vulnerable, especially in the circumstances of being in prison.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you in those situations where being vulnerable could make you vulnerable or subjected to a certain kind of pressure. But I think at the same time, being a stand-up dude as you are or how I was, for one, we know we ain't tolerating but so much, you know, bull crap. But at the same time, when we projected that certain kind of energy into it, people knew it was genuine. They knew it was real and wanted to speak or open up. So I go there to tell me, you know what I mean, like being a father incarcerated, what is that for you?
Man, it's hurt for me, right? Because I had my father in my life, right? But yet I have a son that I only had like a year to be with, right? You know what I'm saying? So the regret is always haunting me. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's one of the purposes why I wanted to get myself, you know, to better myself, right? So that way I can be able to help him, you know, once I get out. You know, we talk on the phone, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, so he even gave me a shout out for Happy Father's Day.
Right.
But yet, you know, I told my grandmother, my mother, my dad, they all know. I was like, I don't even like to accept Father Day cards. You see what I'm saying? Like, me personally. Because I don't feel like I earned that role or that title. You see what I'm saying? Because that's just me. You know what I'm saying? So, it always been an issue with me. You know what I'm saying? But I love talking about it because I don't mind, you know what I mean, talking about, you know, my irresponsible immaturity when I was young. You know what I'm saying? So if I could help somebody else out, you know what I mean, then I feel like, you know, it served its purpose. You know what I'm saying?
And I think like that's what it was for me. Like even when you brought me the idea of saying like this what we want to do and this what is going to be structured of, you know, for me, I don't have children. You know what I mean? And I think I understand where you coming from. I say it was fortunate that I didn't have children or, you know, under the circumstances of facing 20 plus years. You see what I'm saying? And then coming back into society, trying to make a relationship with my child as an adult. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, some people fortunate enough to have some form of a relationship while, you know, they're incarcerated. But like me knowing you, I get it. You understand your ability as a man and as a father, what you really want to pour into your child. But I still look at, under the circumstances, you doing what's best and the best you know how to do from that position. So to me, I couldn't minimize you as a father, knowing that you doing your best.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I get from the perspective that you speaking on as well.
Yeah. Because like I said, man, you know, because you know, but like, you know, when you talk about, you know, things like fatherhood, love, and stuff like that, you know, it's a language, right? And I can't say only a few men can be able to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I wanted to create that space where we can develop vocabulary and the language to be able to discuss those things instead of like not communicating or not being able to be with our sons and daughters or create families and, you know, talk about those type of topics. You know what I mean? Those values that we all should hold dearly to ourselves, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Hey, that's that voice right there. That call right there, that 1 minute remaining. You like, dang, and the conversation just started getting good.
I know. Yeah, I know. You like you can't escape it, and she just like, yo, bust that shit up.
You know? yeah. But I understand too that you got some things that you want to speak. You know what I mean? You know, spoken words, poetry. So, you know, when you call back, we get into that aspect of it.
This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we back, back on television, second phone call, just
Okay.
into it, just getting into the understanding of, the whole purpose of this call and speaking on fatherhood, talking about the transition and just your journey in general. You know what I mean? But if you want to, you can introduce yourself again and you could get them the treat that, we here for today.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Anthony Winn, and since we last discussed fatherhood, right? And I wrote a poem, you know, um, talking about that topic. The first time I seen my son physically, when I was locked up, right, for the first time, right. So I wrote a poem about it. It's called "A Weekend of Displacement," and I want to recite it to you for you. The lady walks across the room with dignity, boasting on her shoulders like a crown of locks, fashioned by the nurturing hands of 1,000 mothers, ancestral roots of royal eloquence that extend longer than immemorial skies. She floats in between prodigal sons, eclipsed from the urban wild, growing, uprooted men as maternal instincts gravitate her towards her own. Son tries to sit motionless, but emotions flame, unfamiliar syllables in his body language. Curiosity forms long creases on his forehead that draws deeper than someone's last breath spoken in a parable. Because nostalgia clouds his sight of a little boy of his likeness, walking beside his mother, a reflection in the mirror to the past, when life meant video games and sleepovers. Tight, he embraces his mother, losing himself in an earthly warmth, a place where their souls had first met. Tears, a therapeutic cleansing, looses and undresses the penal years of an abnormal cost of living. As the child stares with wistful eyes and a closed mouth full of, "Are you my dad? When will I get tall? Why can't you leave with us?" Their eyes dance and a tongue too emotional for words. So he hugs his son, his heir, like a wedding band holds a promise, never to unlock his bond. Sitting at a table that is small as their talk, short as their minutes allowed, an officer makes it his duty to undermine their visit, like missing teeth on a smile. With a blank finish, sadness renders his face and displays a growing man who has misplaced his responsibility. Now, that poem right there just sums up, my feelings about fatherhood, and it was surreal too because, like, when we speak about transition, it's like, okay, I've created a new life, but yet I'm not out there with that life. So what am I going to do to better myself in here so that way when I do get back out there, how can I provide for him? How can I extend that legacy? Right?
Right.
So, that's where that's how that poem originated.
Right. And I think, like, for me, I overall, been in that circumstances where you are, and even just hearing you refine it, or, because I've been around you, so I heard certain things that you speak on or speak about, and just understanding what it then refined or manifested to now. You know what I mean? And just hearing that piece, it, it just hit me anew all over again. You know what I mean? Because I get it. I understand being in a visiting room and seeing loved ones. You know what I mean? But especially, like you say, leaving your son at 1 year old, and then seeing him for the first time behind bars. You know what I mean? That experience for him, but that experience for you as well.
Right.
But to be able to just tap into yourself and tap into your own thoughts and pour that out, you know, in a creative way. You know what I mean? In a more meaningful way. Like, you know, that's a different kind of love. That's a different kind of energy when you take and exert yourself out on a paper like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the beauty of art. That's the beauty of art.
Right.
Look, do you remember, you know, we had this project where we had to do the vision board?
Right.
You remember that?
I still got it.
Yeah, so look, it was like, cause you know, you was stressing over the fact of how to put it together, right?
Right.
And you know, but once you did put it together, you murdered it though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like you really murdered it though. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. It's like, you know, whatever you put yourself to, like, cause it's your creation, it's your art. You know what I mean? If you put the energy in it, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be beautiful regardless. You know what I'm saying? However, you know what I'm saying, you might not think it might come out that much, but you know, it's gonna mean a whole lot to somebody else. And just putting that effort into it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna shine regardless though.
Definitely. And that's what it's all about, man. Just still maintaining a certain kind of dignity about yourself, maintaining a certain kind of sanity. You just, you know, just to deal with circumstances like that mentally. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, we go through so much of understanding. We got a bid to do, but they're understanding the ripple effect of that bid. And when you got, you know, children that you left behind, of course, that's a different kind of journey. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'd rather learn it through y'all and from y'all now before I got to go through it. You see what I'm saying? Even being out here, you know, we talked about real life circumstances of how you try to be a father from prison, but just being a father in general on the streets. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I always, you know, was thankful for, you know, every Friday I looked forward to a fatherhood program or, you know, even the book club or, like you say, anything that promoted that growth and just being a better person.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all on the individual. You know what I'm saying? If you really truly believe that you want to become a better person, it can happen, regardless. You know what I'm saying? You can make that change. You know, and like I said, you'll reap the benefits from it. You know, I guarantee. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think you reaping the benefits of your change all like now?
Oh, no question. The simple fact that I'm gonna tell you like this: I smiled when you sent me well, you know, when you communicated to me about what you was doing at Kings Mountain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I smiled at that because it was like, okay, you got the torch. You know what I'm saying? You still carrying that torch. You carrying the baton.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I look forward to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, even though you're not here, you're a leader within yourself. You see what I'm saying? And you still shining that light. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so.
And that's what I tell people, man. Like, you know, just having that mindset or that energy to be able to pour into people. You don't understand how something you could say, something you could do might affect somebody's life.
No question.
You see what I'm saying? And I think like that's what it was for me. And like you say, once the torch was lit, ain't no putting it out when it's real.
That's right.
And like even now, just being able to reach back out to you now to give you a voice, you know, through whatever platform I can, that's part of it. Know what I mean?
That's right.
I tell people, know what I mean? Like, you know, I grew from people pouring into me. Now it's my duty to pour into others and hope that torch, like you say, stay lit and it continue to roll forward and go beyond.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
You got something else that you want to drop?
Yeah. Since you speaking of that, right? Because you know, like I said, you have that light, right? You know what I'm saying? I have that light. Everybody has a light, right? But it's on the individual to choose how they want to shine that light, right? So, my grandfather knew from the beginning that I had something to share, and he used to tell me that when I was little, right? So, but sometimes I'd be afraid to speak in public.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have them butterflies, right? So, this next poem is a tribute to my grandfather. His name was Curtis Ohio Niblett Sr., right? The name of the poem is called Kaleidoscope, right?
Right.
Now, a kaleidoscope is the name of a group of butterflies, right?
Okay.
So just think about that, you know what I mean? As far as public speaking, you got these butterflies in your stomach, you know what I mean? So we just call it kaleidoscope, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. My grandfather returned to the essence without listening to my seasoned callaloo. 84 years, he stirred his mastery in oral tradition. Flying turtles, recluse witches adorn his magical belief in story time. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. His myths lit dark corners of myself, a home built with his cornstalk fingers. I'd heard sour speech, repeated it until a switch peeled my hind parts. Unable to escape Grandma, Grandpa coined the mantra, don't hurt the Anthony, don't hurt the Anthony. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I imagine having spiritual power, once released from this house of shame. The point of my spoken word will weave narrative quilts from dreams. During a visit, Grandpa said I have a story to tell. Yes, prison can't hurt the Anthony. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, that's the end of it. So, my grandfather, he be in church. He had started that song is called "This Little Light of Mine."
Right. I'm there with you.
He'd take over. I'm talking about like it's over with. Like he gonna stretch it for about 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So he'd do that, and then somebody had to come and tell him like, wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? But,
right.
And that's I've seen him in church do that, and for him to tell me that like, I got a story to tell, which you giving me this opportunity now, and to put my voice out there, right? So it's just giving testament that he's seen that spark in me when I was little. You see what I'm saying? So but he passed away, so he's not able to hear the benefits or my poetry and stuff like that, right? So like I said, this is why I do it. You know what I mean? For my ancestors that's not here, that passed away since I've been in here.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Just to tap into that, situation with your aunt. I don't know if you want to speak on it or it's too vulnerable, but you want to share about the running.
Huh?
When you ran the miles, how many miles you ran and what that represented and why?
Oh yeah. I ran 66 miles, man. You know what I'm saying? So, because my aunt passed away first, right?
Right.
1 month, then the next month my cousin passed away. So it's like I was crushed. You know what I'm saying? So, I was like, man, they said I couldn't go to the funeral. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I can't go, but spiritually, I'm gonna run there. You know what I'm saying? So got my peoples in Google. You know what I'm saying? From Dillwyn to out, Lunenburg. You know what I'm saying? So it was like 66 miles for where my cousin was buried at. You know what I'm saying? So I just go in the rec yard and I just run like the whole rec period. You know what I'm saying? Or different parts until I get accumulated amount of 66 miles,
Right.
right? The beauty of that was that, when guys like yourself and other people was running with me, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? So, sometimes, I'll be out there, especially when if it's raining, I'm running and crying at the same time, you know what I'm saying? So it, it, it was, like I said, it's tough. It's difficult, you know what I'm saying? Especially, being in here, right?
Right.
You don't want to expose yourself, in that manner, but at the same time, I held it down though.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like, and I just wanted to give people a sense of, we in these circumstances and we still face some of the same things, right? We
Right,
be punished in one aspect of, okay, I have to do this incarceration. But at the
yeah,
same time, you don't think about during this period that you have to do that, you losing loved ones and things
yeah,
of that magnitude. So
right,
I think like even reflecting back and coming to the realization that, okay, we got individuals that kind of show more support, right? Like you say,
yeah,
66 miles it was, over
yeah,
the period of time, like you say, you have that time to mourn, but you also get that sense of friendship and true care for those who say, you know what, now I'm gonna run with you. You know what I mean? I
right.
mind,
That's right.
but I get it. That's a time to
Yeah,
just exert energy on a mental aspect, on a physical aspect, and just like combating that anger of them people telling you you can't go pay your respects to a loved one. You
yeah,
know what I mean? But being creative enough and having enough respect to say, okay, how can I think outside the box? I'm gonna still live
right.
my life and pour into them,
Yeah,
show a
yeah.
different kind of respect
That's right.
by exerting myself. And people be out
Yeah,
here with individuals and don't commit to those type of actions.
yeah,
Know what I
yeah.
mean?
I
That's
get it,
that's
but
like running 3 marathons. Know what I mean?
I couldn't. I had to. You know what I mean? Like my spirit told me, like, yo, you got to do something. So I had to think of something. You know what I mean? So
Like you
the way
say,
I can
even
contribute.
committing to that on the
Yeah,
days that it rains. Know what I
yeah.
mean?
And
Like
look,
that's that a different kind of discipline that you teach. These are the
right,
things that we doing to say, okay, I'm gonna make myself
right,
better. I'm gonna make myself stronger.
right. And it was like I beat my body up so bad running all of that, all of those miles, right? And this was in the middle of a basketball tournament. You see what
Right,
I'm saying? So my body was, I told my body up. I was injured. You know what I'm saying? But I still ran those miles, and I still played basketball, right, for my team. You know what I'm saying? But it was like the physical didn't even matter to me. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like I lost two important people in my life that was a part of my support system that I call and talk to on a regular. You see what I'm saying? So, but just by their life getting cut short. My aunt, she died of colon cancer, and then my cousin, he died in a car crash. You see what I'm saying? So it was like it was cut short. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I couldn't wait to get out and celebrate my freedom once I got out of here. You see what I'm
right.
saying? But that didn't change then. But at the same time, I'm never gonna lose.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Never gonna lose sight.
Right.
Right.
So what we got a couple of more things that you trying to do, right?
Yeah, yeah. I got like two more
So yeah,
poems
you
that I
could,
got.
huh?
Yeah, I got two more poems
All
that
right,
I got submitted. Yeah, I got submitted to this journal that I share with you.
all right.
Anthony.
An inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Dillwyn Correctional Center. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right, man. Like I said, I know you got a couple of poems you trying to recite. You know what I mean? So we could get to
Yeah.
those, and then we could talk about them a little bit after, and a couple other questions.
Okay.
You could
Yeah.
introduce it yourself all over again if you want to, or however you want to do that.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. My name is Anthony Winn, and I have two poems that I want to recite that they are being published in this journal. It's called Unlocked, and it'll be featured this September issue. Right. And here they go. The first one is called Petal Imprints, and then the second one is called Countdown to Honor. But here is Petal Imprints. Rural life held hands with nature, like my nana's feet plowed across fields as the sun frowned and roasted the rubber bands off of her crop. With toes crusted right by 6 decades of plowing, planting, harvesting, cooking, preserving, her wheel done what it ought. Time applauded her feet with a lettery patina, veins scribbled across like moccasins, undulating on dark waters. By their appearance, my misconceived notions had taken a bow, like organizing myself before walking toward Ebenezer Baptist Church, knowing no foolishness exists inside. Nana's feet blessed the earth with imprints, leaving in its wake a young man with courage to overcome. Countdown to honor. As blood seeps from a battlefield, a libation draws a badge of joy. Warriors medal, skin stretched across war drums, indivisible. Cries force my throat, close, sealed in silent scars. Okay. Now, the first poem is called Petal Imprints, and that was for my grandmother, right? Because it's like when I was little, my grandmother would be on the porch, and like I see her feet, it was like beat down, like, you know what I'm saying? So I was always joking her feet and stuff like that, right? But as I've read and started learning about my history, slavery and stuff like that, I become to appreciate, and respect my grandparents and my ancestors more, right? Because what she been through, you know what I'm saying? She was a sharecropper, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, I was mocking her, but yet, because I didn't even know my history, you know what I'm saying?
Just
So
understanding the path and the roads and the miles that was put upon her, taking that journey.
Right. And I'm little, and I was like, damn, just looking in hindsight, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I didn't know what I was talking about. Didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Didn't know about what my ancestors stuff been through. So now it's like a new whole, found respect of like, what my ancestors been through. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I speak about that torch a lot because it's like, I told my aunt, you know what I'm saying, she's gonna pass me that torch. I'm gonna make sure I carry it tall. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was for.
Yeah.
Now the second one, the Countdown to Honor, that poem is called a nonette, the form, right? Even though I recited it, it's better when you look at it visually, right? Because a nonette is a form of poetry where it consists of 9 lines. You know what I'm saying? 9 lines, right? But each line, the first line starts with 9 syllables. The second line, 8, 7, 6, 5, all the way down, right? That's how that go. You see what I'm saying? So when people go take a look at that poem, they will see the structure and they'll be able to understand a little bit more as far as how the syllables correspond with each line.
Yeah, so the art, not just the words itself, but even how the words is broken down in syllables.
Right.
Right.
It's a countdown. That's why I said countdown to honor, because it's those things like, even though whatever battle you fighting, right? You're gonna obtain scars. You know what I'm saying? So, you're gonna obtain. You're gonna become stronger of the battles that you in. You see what I'm saying? So, regardless of how much pain you endure, sometimes you're gonna eat it up. You're not going to speak on it. You're gonna endure it. You know what I'm saying? And only you know those scars, but it's gonna keep you strong. And so, and anything else that comes your way, you can be able to endure it. You know what I mean? That's how I look at honor. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to brag and boast about the things that you've been in, but just know that, you can handle them, and you're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, you take it on the chin and keep pushing. You persevere.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah. But yeah, those 2 poems right there, like I said, going to be submitted into a journal. It's coming out of Virginia Tech, and it's called Unlocked, but I'll send you a link once they publish it, though.
Yeah, definitely, once it get published, I want to be able to see that link. But let's step back a little bit, just, listening to how you got into spoken words. I know, like you say, you love reading. I remember a time you told me you read over 500 books. What's the count now?
Oh man, I didn't lost track.
You
I used to
lost
write them
track.
down.
I remember, but I remember you had a list over 500 books that that you was reading.
Yeah, because I've been like, man, I mean, I'm a part of this group, man, where I be getting books sent to me, and I'm on a panel, right? And I have to read certain books, and
just get feedback.
I got to give feedback, and I got to make recommendations, because it's an award, but I'll explain it a little bit more later. But I just be getting books sent in so much, so I be reading so many books, like, and like I said, I just stopped writing them down.
So tell me before the transition though, like when you first got in the system, I get it. I know, even for me, it don't start out as the man you are and what you representing now. So, like, what was that pivot point for you? Like, what was your eye opener, or what was the moment where you came to realization to say, I have to do better, or I want this change and start implementing it?
Oh yeah, that started in the jail. So look, I'm talking about, like, I was getting in so much trouble in the jail, like, because like I said, I was 19, and they just sentenced me to all this time, and I'm like, man, I'm never going home. So I'm wilding out. I'm getting in fights. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking dudes' stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm fighting the police. You know what I'm saying? So when my parents come to see me, they like, every time when they come see me, I'm always in the hole. Or sometimes, when they come up there, they can't see me because I'm in the hole, right?
Right.
So I was like, my mom was like, why I'm getting in so much trouble and all of that, right? Because they coming to see me, and it's like, so they was pleading for me, to straighten up. So I'm like, because I was, in a way, it was like I was trying to push them away, though, for real, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, man, I got 36 years, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? It's over with. You see what I'm saying? So y'all just go and let me go. You know what I mean? But, as loving parents, they did. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, they still here. So, my mom like, man, I need to tighten up. So I tighten up. But I'm going to tell you what did it, though. I picked up a book.
You remember what it was?
It was Sidney Shelton.
Sidney Shelton?
Yeah, Sidney Shelton book, right? It was probably, can't remember the name because I read all of them. But either way, his books talk about, like it has a female protagonist, a female, lead role in this one, right?
Right.
So all his books was about women starting at the bottom, but becoming like conglomerate business owners. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that right there is just like sparked me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, as I'm reading, I could see the mental pictures. You know what I mean? So I just started reading the books, and then I just got, you know what I mean, really into reading. You know what I mean? So that's when I started like, oh no, well, I can read this. Well, let me read this genre. You know what I mean? Let me read a mystery. Or then I was like, well, no, let me read about, you know what I mean, some famous people. So I picked up Nelson Mandela. You know what I mean? Malcolm X. So I'm reading about them. I'm like, oh yeah, they going through the same struggles I done been through. You know, and
Right.
then it came out on top. Mandela became the president.
Mandela, especially Nelson Mandela.
Yeah,
If you ain't
yeah,
inspired by that, I don't know. You know, that's
yeah, man. Malcolm X. I'm talking about he went through the same stuff, and you know I seen like correlations between his life and my life, you know, and then it's like okay, they transitioned, you know, they did, you know, they've been through, you know, prison system, but yet it didn't define them. They got out and made something of themselves, right?
right.
So that's what I was like, okay, boom, then Mandela did 28 years. I'm like, oh yeah, that's around about my time. You see what I'm saying? So I was like,
Right.
oh, yeah, let me read this, you know. So I started, you know, reading. I'm learning English, and what I mean by learning English, I mean like studying the grammar, you know,
Right.
because it's like, okay, if you want to write a sentence, I'm like, okay, I want to write a good sentence. So that way, you know, I can develop this skill while I'm in prison. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
they can't take the pen from me. You know what I mean? They give you a safety pen, but you still have a writing utensil. You know what I'm saying? An instrument, right?
Right.
I mean, so, but that was a change, though. Books, man. You know what I'm saying? Books took me out of here, like on a mental, you know what I mean, odyssey or journey, right?
So
You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
know, like you know, like you say, to be into that many books and things of that nature. Is it any of them that really been, you know, changing outside of that? Like, what would you recommend for somebody that's on a journey to read outside of what you already said that sparked you?
there's many of them, but one of them that stands out right now is The Tipping Point,
The
right?
Tipping Point,
Yeah, by Malcolm Gladwell.
Malcolm
You know,
Gladwell. That's
yeah,
something I
so, you
probably
know,
got to look into myself.
yeah, because I don't know if you remember, but I shared it with you, right? One of the chapters in there, it was pertaining to 6 degrees of separation.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 60 degrees of separation. You
Exactly.
know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that's gonna
Right,
help you
right, right.
execute whatever you want to accomplish in life.
Exactly. So that concept right there, like if you put it in motion, you know, you can become more worldly and you have more networks of getting things done and reaching out to more people. You know what I'm saying? So it just opened up my mind, like having a positive world view, whereas we are all connected. You know what I'm saying? But it all depends on how much of connection that you want to make, a meaningful connection at that. You see what
Right,
I'm saying? Because if you're doing the right thing and people coming along in your life, you want to be that person. You want to be that reliable person, that trustworthy person. You know what I'm saying? So that way you can build these relationships and enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? Meet new people. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it is about the tipping point that I like about that book.
yeah, that's all right though. Like you say, I think overall people, go on a journey throughout their life. Some people seasonal, some people, meet people and they meant to, somehow stay intertwined, the rest of their life, until one
Right.
pass or whatever. But I definitely, like I say, look at the opportunity of what we was able to share and what we still continue to share. You know what I
That's right.
mean? It's like at this point, space can't separate us. You know what I mean? We always gonna say, okay, we gonna figure out a way to bring our energy together.
That's right.
You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? Like I say, even though I just appreciate your time, even though you doing time, and people may feel like, oh, what else he got to do? But I understand more or less of how you focusing on you and your family and the things that you want to build, and that time is valuable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also understand too that what it means to an individual to have somebody on the outside that's willing to give you an opportunity to be able to speak, to be able to express, or to feel like you headed in the direction you want to go. You know what I mean? Like part of this is you putting your foot forward.
Yeah, that's right. That's
You know
right.
what I mean? So like, I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, and I appreciate you for even keeping your word. You know what I'm saying? You bring it manifesting southern vision. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? 'Cause you talked about it in here and you making it manifest. So, you know what I mean, you're a man of your word. You know what I'm saying? That's right.
I said, man, at this point, I felt like I don't have nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Like after being gone for decades, people. I was talking to one of my cousins or whatever, and he was just saying how people come out here and into society and kind of evolve a lot quicker or faster on a different level than people that
Right.
been out there. And I say
Right.
that, it's crazy because having that opportunity to just think, know what I mean, and then say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But
Right.
it's not like we've been in a situation where we've been implementing ourselves in so many distractions.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
But I want people to
Yeah.
know, even in prison, those same distractions are there. If not, certain ones that's just as worse. You see what
Right.
I'm saying?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
I commend you. Know what I mean? Like I say, I'm more than thankful that I say this is just something we had to do. I'm like, man, I got to get you on here. I got to give the people, a perspective of what is really like to be changing in prison and understanding, okay, these are the things I did out inside, and this is what I'm going to bring outside.
Yeah. That's
Like I
right.
say, I
That's
only
right.
can imagine the connections and the things that you will be able to do once you get out. Because I don't think people could even understand the surface of what you was able to accomplish under the circumstances
Right.
that you in.
Yeah, because me, man, I don't like toot my own horn, but that portfolio, man, my joint thick.
It's thick. You've been putting in the work for a long time.
Yeah,
And like I
yeah,
say,
my
you
joint
was the
thick.
example of, okay, this was possible and this is how you do it. So like you say,
Yeah,
to even light the flame or hand me a torch, or to just be able
yeah,
to reflect on things of how seeds are planted. Know what I mean? From your
that's right.
grandfather telling you had a story to tell. That was a seed a long
That's
time
right.
ago. Whether he got to see
That's
it
right.
manifest and grow, that it was still planted.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then
that's right.
you just having that care to pass it forward. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
respected the most. That you
right,
you knew, even on a path of where you wanted to go, you still able to pour into so many others.
right.
Know what I
That's right.
mean?
Cause that's what I learned. Cause I think I learned that from my aunt, though. Like, in a sense, cause I be telling her about pride. You know what I mean?
You have 1 minute remaining.
She be saying like, "Don't let my pride get in the way, man." You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I just been learning how to help people. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
being selfless with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's deep, but like I
And
said,
we get it. We
each
can't
person
help
got it.
everybody. Whatever,
Yeah,
whatever for
yeah,
you, for you. If it's not, let it pass you.
yeah,
Know what I mean? But I'm
yeah.
like I say, I'm thankful for the opportunity.
Oh
Know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely more we could bring to the table, and we going to. Know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, and like I said, man, thanks for the opportunity, man, and make Southern Vision shine, man. I know it's gonna blow up anyway. So
Right.
behind it, you know what I'm saying?
Man, call me anytime, man. You know what it
Yeah.
is. Know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you already know. You know
And
what it
when
is.
I get it together, I'm gonna let you know.
All right, that's what it is. We'll catch up with you.
All right, man. You be safe,
All right,
man. Keep pushing.
all right, you too. You
All
too.
right.
All right.